kids. All right, so today, guys, we're going to go over our checkpoints. So the first one, we had a number line, right? And it was 0 to 1. And then it had a tick mark right here that you had to label. Okay, so I just quickly sketched this. So I just want to remind you guys, when we're talking about a numerator and a denominator, your denominator is always the total parts. And we're talking about the total parts between 0 and 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at how many equal parts there are in all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know for that fraction, my denominator has to be an 8 because that is the total number of equal parts. My numerator is going to be the parts that are considered, the ones we are looking at. So if my point is right here, then I'm going to count how many parts all the way to my point. So think of it as a little ant, and your ant is starting at 0. And he's going to make little hops. So count for me. So we're going to go 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. Oh, if you said 8, you're not paying attention. So 7. You guys said 7 right when he landed on that spot. So my fraction is 7/8. A common mistake is I see you guys counting wrong. So you really got to think about, and if it helps you, imagine you're a little tiny ant hopping along on a number line, if that helps you out. Okay? So that was number 1, or that was A. Let's look at B. So for part B, things changed a little bit. We had a 0 and a 2 and a 1. I said those out of order. We have a 0, 1, and a 2. The first thing you should notice is this is more than 1. As a matter of fact, it's 2 wholes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to make it harder. Not impossible, just a little bit harder. So then we had a bunch of tick marks. Okay, so let me put them on here. Okay. And we had one of these that was labeled. It was this one, right? Yes. Okay, your job was to name that point on your number line. So thinking about numerators and denominators. Your denominator is the total number of parts between 0 and 1. I saw some of you guys did between 0 and 2. So if I was doing it wrong, I might say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I might put 10 as my denominator. That's not correct because that thing is more than 1. So I'm just going to look at 0 to 1 for my denominator. So here's my ant. Everybody count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So I know, listen, I know my denominator has to be a 5. Because between 0 and 1 and 1 and 2, they're split into 5 equal parts. Okay? And I also know, because of where my dot is located, I know my fraction has to be more than 1. Right, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to use a different color. I'll use this bright red. Now I'm going to be an ant again, and I'm going to count until I land on my point. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So you guys said 8. So that means my numerator is 8. So does this fraction, is 8/5 more than 1 whole? Yes. Does this point show more than 1 whole?
Yes.
Yes. Does it look weird to you?
No.
Yeah, well, it might. There's a big number on top. We call that an improper fraction. So I know 5/5 is 1 whole. 8/5 is just another 3/5. So 8/5 is your answer, but it is 3/5 more than a whole. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. A little bit. All right. Erase everything. All right, we're going to look at number 2. Number 2 was fun. Okay. So for number 2, we had a number line, and it went from 0 to 1, and it was split into some parts. 1, 2. Okay. And the question says, is 7/12 greater or less than 1/2? There's several ways to go about doing this. You could have used a number line, but you didn't have to. And you could have used your math reasoning. I'm going to show the number line first, and then I'll show you my math reasoning. And this one really is what we talked about yesterday with our cards and our poster. As a matter of fact, the answer is probably right there on our poster if I had to guess. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I would label my benchmark fraction. So I would say, well, in order to answer this, I got to know where 1/2 is. Okay? So first I need to know the total number of parts. Then I can divide it by 2, right? I can split it in half. So I'm going to be an ant again. You guys ready?
Yeah.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So if there's 12 equal parts, what is half of 12, everybody?
6.
6. So I'm going to label 6 as 1/2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here, that is 1/2. Do you guys all agree?
Yeah.
Okay, good. But now I got to find 7/12. Well, isn't my number line split into 12 equal parts? Yeah. So I can just be a little ant again, and I can just go to the tick mark that is 7. So I already count. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
If you said 8, you're not paying attention. Okay, so 7/12 would be right there. Oh, now can I see which is great? If that 7/12 is greater? Okay, so I could have used a number line. But remember, I also said we could use our math reasoning. Okay, so I'm going to erase what I have up here. And I'm going to write down 1/2, and I'm going to write down 7/12. Now our anchor chart up there says, how do you know if it equals 1/2? You guys told me if the numerator is half of the denominator. So if my denominator is 12, what is half of 12? Everybody?
6.
So 6/12 is the same as 1/2. Is 7/12 greater than 6/12
Yes.
or less than 6/12?
Greater.
There you go. I didn't even need a number line. All I had to do was look at my denominator and then make this fraction equivalent to 1/2. Then I can easily compare, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We have exactly 5 minutes, plenty of time to do number 3. Erase your marker boards. Number 3. So we had a number line again,
They're all number lines, except for number.
which was really convenient. And it was labeled 0 to 1. Don't draw on your shoe. Okay, so it was labeled 0 to 1. It had some tick marks, and it says, explain why 4/12 is equivalent to 1/3. Use a number line if it's helpful. So the first thing I would do is I would be a little ant, and I would say, okay, how many equal parts is this thing split into, right? So I'm going to start at 0. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
1.
2, 3.
Oh, isn't it split into thirds? I could even label my tick marks, right? 1/3, 2/3, and then 3/3 is the same as 1 whole, right? Okay. Oh, hey, 1/3 is right here. We just labeled it. What's our problem?
We don't have 4/12.
We don't have 4/12. What can we do, Bella?
You have to make a number line.
We could make a new number line, or Nicholas.
I'll just put 3 lines in between each page.
How do you know that?
Because 1/12 is 1/3 is 1.
Is 3 a factor of 12?
Yes.
And if I count by 3s, will I say 12?
Yes.
Yes. So we could do that. So I could say, okay, I'm going to split this so there's 4 equal parts in each of these, because 4 times 3 is 12. So I could do that. Here's a half. Okay, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Okay. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to label my tick marks. We're going to be a little ant. I'm going to use a different shade of orange. So now I've split my number line. If I'm looking at the blue ones into how many equal parts, everybody?
12.
12. Okay, so I'm going to say 1 12, 2 12s.
3 12s. 4
Oh, wait a minute. Stop, stop, stop. Isn't that what we just said?
It's the same.
Are they the same point on the number line?
Yes.
Doesn't our poster from day one say fractions that have the same size and describe the same point on the number line are equivalent fractions? Remember I told you, look around the classroom. Those posters we make are hanging up. You can use them. Okay. Do 1/3 and 4/12 show the same point?
Yes.
Are they equivalent?
Yes.
All right. The other thing, a couple of you noticed, in question 2, wasn't it already split into 12?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you could have just used your pencil to see if they lined up, right? But I love that you're thinking about factors and multiples. Perfect. All right. That was our checkpoint today. You guys erase your marker boards, put away your marker supplies, come back, and we'll line up for lunch.